Hey guys, it's me. Hello. Today it's Chasey Poo. Ha! Yes, I have beautiful hair today. I am taking advantage by making some videos, although I look like I've been crying or I'm like high as I don't know what's going on. Anyways, today I want to talk to you about trans jealousy. So what is trans jealousy? Well, here's the thing. I have been on hormones for 7 years. I had top surgery 4 years ago, and I've been transitioning a total of almost 10 years. I realized I was trans like 11 years ago, and all of this stuff happened. So when I say that, okay, and this is just the situation of my life. I changed my name, I changed my gender marker, and that's it. When I say those things, I know that there are some people that are watching that are like jealous or envious, or they have this feeling inside them, like a burning feeling, and they don't want to admit that it's jealousy. Well, I'm here to talk about that specifically. The reason why I'm talking about this is because I feel the same way. Okay, I'm done. Have a great day. Bye. I'm kidding. But for real, like I have felt that way my whole life with everything. I always felt like I'm not good enough. I've always felt like no matter what I do, it won't be as good as the next person, and that I'll never actually be as good as I think I should be, or anything like that. I feel like shit, you know? Like I feel like I feel like when I was younger, a lot of people stole my ideas and like went with them at school, and then they got all the praise. So I felt like my ideas are good, but people take credit, so I'm shit. And it was so bad. And then when I started to transition, I started feeling that feeling again, where I was like, why is this happening? Why do I always feel like shit? Why do I always have to compare myself to other people? And that was a really, really hard thing that I went through, and I still go through, honestly, where when the beginning of my transition, when I saw all of my friends start hormones and then start getting top surgery, and I wasn't even on hormones yet, it was so frustrating, and I was caught in the middle of, I'm so happy for you, and then like I'm so jealous, I don't even want to talk to you right now. And it's such a weird place to be in, because we should be celebrating other people's accomplishments and success and their goals that they're setting for their life, and they're reaching them, and it's amazing. And it's just so hard to put yourself in that position of, I'm so happy for you, when you're in a position where you want to be there also. And this is especially hard when you're transitioning, because you see all these people around you, all these people online, sometimes in real life, and you see them all transitioning and being happy. And then I know so many people who are not able to transition yet, or their parents are not accepting, or they don't have money, or they have a medical condition, they're not able to transition physically. It's very hard for them, and I can 100% understand the feeling that they're having, because I had that feeling for so many years. And I don't know if I like the term like trans jealousy, but just to clear it up, like that, let's call it that. And it's like transition jealousy. And I've come in a place right now where I feel very fortunate, and I try not to talk about my transition in like a throwing it in your face kind of way, where I'm like, I've been on hormones for 7 years, you know, like I did in the beginning, because I know that can hurt people, and it really sucks. And I feel like I feel very privileged that I'm able to transition, and I'm able to live my life the way I was meant to be lived for like my whole life, right? And I'm finally able to be myself, and it feels good to talk about this. And a part of me sometimes feel like I shouldn't put myself out there so much, because I feel like there are people out there who makes them feel bad. But then on the other side, I feel like it's so good to document your transition, because the people can envision and really see what they're gonna look like, and what life kind of has in store for them in the future once they transition. And I'm saying that second part because when I was younger, there was no one on YouTube. There was like 2 people who were trans, and it was so hard because I had like one person to look up to, and I didn't really know anything about them and know about their life, so it was really hard to picture myself. And I feel like if I had all of these people on YouTube talking about their life, oh my god, it would have gotten me through so much, and I feel like I would have been so excited for my future. And as I started YouTubering, oh my god, when I started making video vlogging, that's the word I'm looking for, and other people started doing it, and then I started getting so many more friends. It was so awesome to have this whole community of people, and we were all transitioning either all at the same time, and then I had another group of friends who were all different, and having that support was amazing. But I still felt that trans jealousy, where close friend of mine had top surgery, and I was like, like, I'm so happy for him, but why do I feel like shit? You know what I'm saying? And when people would talk online about changing their name and their gender marker, it was really hard for me because it was really hard to do that in Quebec where I live, to be able to change your name and gender marker. That shit cost me like over $1,000 or $800, something like that. It was crazy, a crazy amount of money to be able to change my documents, and I just felt like it wasn't fair, and I felt like other people had it more easy. And I talked about this in another video called You Had Such an Easy Transition, where when people say that, I feel like they kind of discount the emotional aspect of transition, where you had such an easy transition, your parents accepted you, you were able to go on hormones right away, you were able to have top surgery, so easy. But the reason they transition is because they have some distress, right? Dysphoria, that's a thing we have because we're trans and we're transitioning. So we're not really recounting kind of like the emotional aspect of transition that we have to deal with. That's really hard. So I feel like when I was younger, I wish somebody would have told me that. Like, just because they're transitioning doesn't mean that their life is easy. And I think that that was the main message that I wish somebody had told me before, because I was so jealous. And I feel very, very great right now that I am in a place where I'm not really jealous of people who are transitioning. Sometimes I'm jealous of the parental acceptingness. And as somebody who's been on hormones for such a long time, and I'm like 26, I'm old and stuff like that. Yeah, I know people in the comments who are older than me be like, you're a baby, don't worry, I got it. I mean, I'm like transition old, I guess. And I feel like I shouldn't be jealous of like kids who are like 13 and their parents are there. Like, I go to the conference and I see all of these parents with their like 10-year-olds and 13-year-olds, and I just start crying, and I don't know how to explain it. I met Jazz's mom, Janine, I think that's her name, and yeah, at the conference like 4 years ago, and I just stood there and I just started crying, and I was like, I'm sorry, this is just so hard because you're so accepting. Like, it's such a weird place to be in, because yeah, my dad's accepting, but he still uses my old name, still uses old pronouns. It's really hard to live this world in my entire life where everyone respects me, and then I go back to my dad. I know he respects me, but it's just so hard to be called something that I don't identify with. So seeing these parents accepting their kids is just so amazing, and I am so jealous of that and that connection that I could have had, I guess, with my dad if we were more open about all of the things that have happened. But I will say that in terms of other things, like transition-wise, one of my best friends had phalloplasty last year, and I thought that I would be jealous. I'd be like, because he had bottom surgery, and like his transition is like over for him, right? That's how he says. It's like he's basically done with his transition, and it's like, what's next? And I remember when he had phalloplasty and when he got out of phalloplasty surgery, and when he was 6 months post-op, and when I saw him at the conference and when we talked, there was not one single fiber in me that was jealous, because I was so happy for him. And I love that jealousy that I've had for so many years, my whole life, kind of switched it because I saw how happy this person was. And even though in the future bottom surgery will be something that I probably will want, not right now, too busy, it was just so amazing. And I'm not even jealous at all that he was able to, you know, get the money together, get insurance together, be able to go to a surgeon that he wanted to quickly, and all of these things. I'm just so happy for him. And especially now that he's like a year and whatever's post-op, and just seeing his life and just his demeanor is different, and demeanor, is that the way that he stands and holds himself is different. He just seems like such a happy person. And the thing with me is that when people accomplish their goals, no matter what it is, transition related, school, whatever, I cry. When I go to graduation, I'm crying because all these people are graduating. They have accomplished a goal, and most of them, this is like no one in their family has ever been to university, and they're graduating. And I think that I feel that way because I'm that person. I was the first person in my family to ever even touch university, and now I'm doing my master's and I'm close to finishing. Like I cry for my accomplishments, but it's hard to acknowledge my accomplishments, so I guess I project it on other people, and I cry for other people. I'm so happy for them. And any goal that you have, that you've achieved, you are amazing, and that is amazing. And I don't think that we should be jealous of things that we accomplish. And it's really hard to say that as somebody who's on T for so long and transitioning for so long to somebody who just came out maybe 6 months ago, and I get it. And I'm not saying you need to do that, I'm just saying I wish I had somebody back then when I was younger to tell me it's normal to feel this way, and we all feel this way, and even if we don't talk about it. But I think that having an open dialogue and maybe realizing that that all of our transitions are different, and we all, even though it looks easy, we all struggle mentally, we all struggle with certain things. And you know what? That person that you're jealous of with their transition, maybe they're jealous of something in your life. Who knows? But I think that this is just like it's not even just transition problem, it's just a problem overall with things. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and let's talk about this. Do you experience trans jealousy? Are you happy for your friends who transition? Because I don't know, I want to know, because I'm like literally so happy when people on the comments of my videos say, I just started T today. I am so happy. Obviously I wouldn't be jealous of that, but because I'm like old, but it just makes me so happy, and I just know that some people find like they get jealous of that, and I don't know how do we deal with that as a community? Let me know in the comments below. I love you guys so much. Thank you for everything, and I will see you later, my little bees. Have a great day. Bye.